Hello there. As we speak, last night's video of the beef fuzz being uploaded. Tonight's meal, I'm having Osso Bucco. These are not veal shanks though, they are regular beef shanks. The veal shank is from the calf. So these are, it's hard sometimes to find veal in the markets. So I have three, probably one and a quarter pound shanks here. And I've salted them. And I'm going to put them in the fridge uncovered until I do them tonight in about another 6 hours. I want to let that salt do its work to get into the meat, so we'll have some flavory beef. And I'm going to do this with mashed potatoes tonight. So I'm going to braise it. I'm not going to use the Instant Pot. I'm going to use my Dutch oven, and it'll be in the oven for 3 hours. So tune in a little bit. 6 hours for me. It'll be 2 seconds for you. We'll see you later. Okay, so I'm doing these Osso Bucco beef shanks in the oven. I'm not going to use the Instant Pot, so that's going to take about 2 to 2.5 hours. I've already salted and peppered both sides. Now I'm going to dredge in seasoned flour. It doesn't have much seasoning at all, just has a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, and I really want to shake off as much as I can. On the stove, I'm doing it in my braised Dutch oven. I call it a braised Dutch oven because this is the one that I use just for braising. And I use it just for braising because I use wine with it. And wine tends to stain. And that Dutch oven's about 10 years old. It's still a good workhorse. But I won't use it for other things because I don't mind if this one gets stained. But I don't want my other leprosy pots getting stained. So. Okay, so let's move on over to, I have to wash my hands from the flour. So I got my Dutch oven on a medium-high heat. It's not quite ready yet. I'm going to turn it up a bit. And I'm going to go ahead and sear both sides until they get nice and golden brown. I got olive oil in here. It's not quite up to heat yet, so I'm going to crank it up a bit. So I also have one large onion in here. You only see onion. I've got one large onion diced. I have 2 carrots that are also diced, and I have 2 celery stalks that are also diced. They call it mirepoix. And I'm going to be using red wines, a Pinot Noir, believe it or not, to braise. And so let me go through a little bit of what I'm going to do. After I sear, I'm going to put the veggies in, the mirepoix, the onions, carrots, and celery. I'm going to stir those until they're nice and softened. I'm going to add a little bit of the seasoned flour in there, a couple of tablespoons of tomato paste, and then I'm going to deglaze the pan with the white wine, put the shanks back in, fill it up with about 3 cups of beef broth, and then it goes into the oven at 350 for at least 2 hours. And after 2 hours, maybe hour and a half, I'll check on it for doneness. If I need to add more beef broth, I will. And we're going to have it with mashed potatoes. And what's the veggie we got?
We got cauliflower.
Oh, cauliflower. So I'm going to roast cauliflower with some Italian season, some lemon zest, and I think some Parmesan cheese. I'll see when I get there. Not quite there yet. Okay, so it's smoking, so these are going to be nice and toasty and ready to go. Okay, I don't know if I can get all 3 in. Maybe I will. I'll get all 3 in. Okay, so I'm going to let it go at this point, and once these are nice and brown, I'll take them out and get the veggies going. So we'll see you back in about 6 or 7 minutes. Okay, the shanks are out. The shanks are out. They're all seared. Now I'm going to do the veggies. I add a little bit more olive oil in. Oops, one flew out. Okay, we're season the veggies so they can sweat out with a little bit of salt, tiny little bit of salt, and pepper. Gonna let these cook for a bit, a few minutes. Then I'll add in the garlic. Okay. So these are going to take a little bit of time, maybe 5 to 7 minutes to soften. We'll be back then. We're going to add the garlic back in, and then we'll move along with the seasoned flour, the tomato paste, and then we'll put the shanks back in and then finish them off in the oven. So we'll see you back in a few minutes. Okay, so I just dumped in the garlic. Just gonna let that bloom for about 30 seconds. You need to get in closer, Donnie? Nope. Okay. Now I'm gonna add in the seasoned flour. Now why am I adding the flour? Well, I want to thicken the sauce that's going to be in here when I add in the broth. And so that's always a good thickening agent. And I'm going to put in about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Now, when I've made this before, I've used diced tomatoes. The thing about diced tomatoes is that they don't break down easy because of the preservatives that are in there. So to get that deep tomato flavor, it's always best to just use tomato paste. Okay. Now, I'm going to deglaze this pan. I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit. Let me get my beef broth out of the microwave. I had it tucked away so that I don't knock it over. Anyone who knows me knows I can be pretty clumsy. I just got called out. Okay, so I'm going to deglaze with the wine. And I can pick up all those brown bits. See, this is why I use this pan, this Dutch oven for braising, because it stains. It's about 10 years old, I think, maybe older, but it's a good it's a good workhorse. I just don't use my other Le Creuset pots for braising.
You can say it's well seasoned.
Well, that it is. Okay, so that's in. I'm going to put back in the shanks. And all its juices. Okay. All I got left is the broth. And put the broth in. Now you don't want it to cover all the way because you want it to braise. So you want to leave a little bit up. Uncovered, but I've got about 3 cups here. This is a little tight fit. Let me see if I can move them around a little better. Okay, that's all I'm going to use. If I need to add more in later, I'll just top it off. Okay, so that's it. It's going to go into the oven for about 2 hours. I'll probably check at it an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 45. And we'll see how it's doing. Okay. We'll check you back later. See. Okay, I had to put everything together, but the beef shanks, the Osso Bucco was ready. I took them out, set them aside, made the mashed potatoes. And I made the roasted cauliflower, which the seasoning on it here is salt and pepper, some olive oil, some cumin, some turmeric, and some red pepper flakes. I took when I took the shanks out, I took a emulsifier and just put it through the sauce to just smooth it out a little bit. And here's the final product. So there's Donnie's plate. There's my plate. I've tasted the sauce. It's really amazing. I haven't tasted the veggies yet, but the Osso Bucco is really fork tender. Everything fell off the bone. I know this is really good. Hope you like it and try it and let me know what you think.